channel. My name is Udwakutu and I'm a content creator here on YouTube, shooting from Lagos, Nigeria. If you're a new subscriber on the channel, welcome. It's nice to have you here. And if you're an old subscriber or a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. We really did miss you. Now, before I go on, I want to first apologize. I've not been around for a while and well, I've been kind of like busy. I've been really busy, guys, so please don't be angry. Bear with me. Don't leave. Keep watching. Subscribe, like, and share this video, guys. I'm really trying so hard to get to 500 subscribers. I need you all to help me because we're a family here, so I need you all to help me get to 500 subscribers. Let's do this. I know we can do this. We can. Okay. All right, so moving on, from the description down below, you can see that what I'll be talking about today is giving you 12 things you need to know when you're apartment searching right here in Lagos, Nigeria. So I'm going to be sharing my experiences because I recently just got this place like 6-7 months ago or so, and I have friends who are now searching for a place, so I just thought this would be the right time to tell you guys what's up out there so you know. Okay, so today I'm drinking Smirnoff Double Black. This is one of my favorite drinks. Unfortunately, I don't think there's much awareness on this drink because people really don't get it, and I hardly see it to buy. This is one of my favorite drinks, so whenever I want to get it, I have to go far to get it, which is weird. I think Smirnoff needs to do more awareness concerning this drink. And I mean, you can come to me, Smirnoff, come to me. I'm here, man. You should make me your brand ambassador, man, because I love this thing like something else. I had to make all my friends get addicted to this stuff. It's crazy. All right, so without waiting any longer, let's get right into it. Number one, agents. Agents. See, guys, when looking for an apartment, you need to be sure that your agent is on your side, because these guys, I don't know, like, it's weird. When I was searching for my apartment, they tried to play a fast one on me. This house didn't have an agent, but they saw the notice outside and now acted like as if they were the agents of the house, which was crazy. And then they billed me one exorbitant amount of money, and then later I got to find out that the landlord did not put any agents. So I kind of made up my mind I was going to pay, and then we were trying to cause a fight about it, and the landlord just asked me to pay them something, and I just had to give them money. So be very careful when you are looking for an apartment with an agent. Be sure to have a conversation with your landlord. Like, if you see an apartment that you like, speak to the landlord. Insist that you want to talk to the landlord before sorting out with your agent, because I mean, those guys, I don't know, like, you get an apartment for 200k, your agent will tell you the total package is 400. How? Like, how? I don't get it. It's becoming irregular here in Lagos, and I don't just know why nobody's doing anything about it. It's really crazy. Most times these houses are not expensive. It's the agent that just puts one heavy money just because they are trying to cash out. So guys, one thing you need to be very wary of when searching for an apartment here in Lagos is agents. Okay, some of them collect your money and disappear, and somebody else has already taken their apartment. You just really need to be careful when it comes to agents. All right, for tip number 2, it is consider your daily movement. Now, this is something that people don't really factor when searching for an apartment, and I don't know why. You need to consider where you work, places you go to, the distance between where you're about to get as an apartment and where you're going to be heading to. You see people saying they live at Ogun State and they walk on the island, and I'm like, how? And sometimes I imagine the kind of traffic they go through every day. It is really frustrating. So when you're looking for an apartment, you need to consider your daily movement. It's very important. Don't overlook it. Okay, it's because of cost. Cost is very important, and also traffic. So you need to consider your daily movement. Moving on to tip number 3. For tip number 3, we have the cost. Okay, so for those of you who know, you stay in Lagos, you know what's up. Apartments are freaking expensive here in Lagos. I don't know about any other place. I know Abuja is expensive too. When I say the cost, I mean you as a person. Ask yourself, how much do I want to spend on an apartment? What's the cost I'm willing to give out on an apartment? Use that and search for an apartment. Don't go beyond your budget and you have 200,000 naira in your account and you're searching for an apartment and your agent is taking to houses of 600, 700, 800, and you know very well that you cannot afford that. So make sure you look at the cost before you start looking for an apartment. Check your account balance very well before you start looking for an apartment. All right, so let's move to tip number 4. For tip number 4, it is sexism. Now I know sometimes people don't know that this thing actually exists when you're searching for an apartment, but trust me when I say that it does exist. I lost some apartments because I was a single woman, not married. Some apartments I saw that were really nice, they said because I wasn't married I couldn't get it. And then the other time, another time I got an apartment, they told me because I wasn't Yoruba they weren't giving it to me. I'm like, what? You understand? So these things happen. Sometimes the mentality of people here in Nigeria, they're like, how can a single woman be staying on her own in a big house? What are you looking for? Only you, nobody, blah blah blah. That's what comes into their mind. And I'm like, what's your business though? What's your business though? Yes, and I'm not just talking about girls, although most times girls, yeah, but guys too face it too, because sometimes you see them saying, oh, they want a man who is married, oh, they want a man who works in so company, oh, they want a man. I mean, why do I need to be working in NNPC before you can give me your house? It doesn't even make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Is that the only place there's money? When I came to collect this apartment, I went with my friends to see the landlord. Although she wasn't really sexist or anything, but I went with 2 guys. So, you know, and I was like, they're my brothers. And, you know, she was cool with it. Alright, so for the next tip, it is consider sharing an apartment. Now, I know people are going to be like, why? Why do I need to share an apartment? Why? I'll tell you why. Because right now, things are tough, okay? And getting an apartment is not easy because you have bills to pay, you have rent to renew yearly. So if you know that you want to get an apartment and your money no reach am, I hope everybody understood that. If your money is not enough for the apartment you want to get, you can actually consider sharing an apartment with someone. That makes it easy. The load becomes the load of 2 people. So even instead of you to pay 500, you can pay 250 and the next person pays 250. And I feel that if you don't have a problem with sharing a space with someone, it's fine. You can do it. Some people like their privacy like me. I like my privacy. I like my space, right? So I can't share an apartment with someone. But if you are out there and you can, I would advise you to do, because it makes the bill lesser. All right? So let's move to the next one. Tip number 6, it is electricity. Okay, so I can't emphasize this enough, guys. If you are looking for an apartment in Lagos, make sure that they have electricity. It is very important that you know that they have electricity. Now, I know that electricity in Nigeria or in Lagos as a whole is bad everywhere. Although I heard that there are some people in some places on the island where they have electricity for 24 hours a day, they don't take light. I heard. I don't know if that exists. If it does, I mean, you guys can comment down below and let me know if that exists. That would be really cool though, having like 247. But for us on the mainland that we don't have 247 lines, when you are looking for an apartment, you need to make sure that the light is stable. I'm shooting this video right now because there is light, right? Now, when I wanted to get this apartment, I straight up, I asked the landlady, what's the light situation like? And she told me it was really cool, it was okay. And ever since I moved in, it's been like that. Unless maybe the light has a fault, it takes them like 3-4 days to fix it, or sometimes a week, but that's rarely. And my dear brother and sisters, the light is okay. I'm living in this apartment right now and I do not have a generator in my house. Why? Because I am comfortable with the electricity, so I do not need a generator. When you are looking for an apartment, ask around, ask people, what's the electricity like in this area? Speak to people. You don't need to speak to them with your agent. You can allow your agent go and then you come back on your own and just try and get information from people around. How is the light here? How is the light here? To know if they have light. Because if you move into an apartment where there's no light, that's more expensive on you, because you have to get a generator and then you have to fuel the generator and then you have to spend money on a daily buying fuel. So it's crazy, man. You got to make sure that where you're staying has at least a manageable amount of light. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. All right, so for my next tip is tip number 7, and that is water. Guys, water is very, very important. Yes, I gotta say it that way so you know. There are some houses that don't have water and I don't understand. Like, I remember when I used to stay in my friend's house back then, and they used to have water problem. They had a well where they used to pump water, right? But they had electricity problems, so they couldn't pump water. And then they will ask people to contribute money to buy fuel to pump water. People will still not contribute. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Are you people normal? Are you normal? Are you normal? They practically prefer to go to the well to pull water than actually buy fuel to pump water. It's the weirdest thing ever. Okay, so you need to be sure that the house you're taking has water, constant water. So I heard there are places in Lagos where the water is brown. They have to treat the water. Mostly the island, I think I heard things like that. And I seriously don't even know how they cope. I don't know. Okay, so for number 8, tip number 8, it is security. Now, this one is tricky. Security is kind of tricky because to me, I feel like God is the chief security officer. That's me, man. That's what I believe. I believe God is just the chief security officer and that he's the only one who can protect somebody. Because, and let me tell you why I say this. Because if you say that you go and stay in an estate, there are estates that get robbed. You get. If you say you are going to stay in the bush area, you know, there are bush areas too that get invaded by armed robbers. So you really cannot say, but make sure that where you're going to stay is safe. Like, ask around. What is this place? Is this area safe? There's some areas that are actually safe, okay? And I asked the question when I was going to take this house. I asked the landlady if security was tight, and she said it was. I mean, I feel like you need to do your own investigation, but then you still need to pray about it to let God tell you or let God lead you. Praise Jesus. to know if the house you're about to take is actually security tight. But like I say, and I will continue to say, God is the chief security officer. That's all. Period. For tip number 9, it's negotiation. Now, when it comes to this, your agent, those wicked agents, they don't want you to have access to the landlord because they know you can actually negotiate. Now, it is a good thing for you guys to do whenever you're going to look for an apartment. Try as much as possible to see if you can negotiate with the landlord, okay? If they tell you the apartment is 200,000, and that's why it's good to see the landlord. If the landlord tells you it's 200,000, try and see if you can beat it down a little. Don't just pay the money sharp because you're only CC, low down because you're cashing out. Try as much as possible to see if you can bargain with them and let them tell you if they drop it down. My example or my experience, when I was coming to collect this apartment, I had a one-on-one conversation with the landlord and she told me this was the amount, and I told her, okay, can we beat it down a little bit? And she agreed. She beat it down. We beat it down a little bit and it was fine. You understand? But sometimes when you leave everything to the agent, they don't allow you to negotiate. That's the problem. So try as much as possible to see your landlord so you can negotiate. Okay? Alright, so let's move on to the next tip. Alright guys, for tip number 10, it is meter. Hey, way. Guys, if you are going to search for an apartment here in Lagos, try as much as possible to find out if they have a meter. Hey, guys, see, let me tell you something. You know what's up in Lagos right now. The amount of bill NEPA is passing around is no joke. So it is preferable for you to get an apartment and you have your prepaid meter than doing joint body meter with everybody, because when you start receiving bill of 200,000 and you're thinking to yourself, what do I have in my house apart from TV and fridge? What's going on here? Is the bulb consuming that much light? You start asking yourself those questions. These are the reasons why you need to get your personal meter. So when I was looking for this apartment, that's one of like first things I said I asked for. Is there a meter? Does the house have a meter? And they said yes, every apartment has its own meter. And my mind just, I was at rest, because that means I control my light. Because if I don't want light in my apartment, I won't load the card. And if I want light, I load. It's simple. I control it, okay? So we only have to deal with NEPA increasing tariff and reducing tariff. That's all. But saying they should not be bringing bill of 100,000, 200,000 because you guys don't have a meter, it's not a good something at all. And if they don't, ask the landlord, are you going to put it or you're not going to put it? Let me know now. Discuss that before paying for your apartment. It is very, very important. Moving on. For tip number 11, it is serviced or unserviced apartment. Now, for those of you who don't know, in Lagos here, which I'm sure everybody knows, but in case you don't know, there are apartments that are serviced or not serviced. You need to find out if your apartment is serviced or not serviced. And if your apartment is serviced, you need to find out what exactly you are paying for, because they will tell you an apartment is a serviced apartment and then you are paying 50k monthly for servicing. If your apartment is a serviced apartment, find out what you are paying for. So when I came to collect this apartment, they told me it was a serviced apartment, and I asked what I was paying for when they gave me the amount I was going to be paying monthly, okay, which was okay. It wasn't like it was big, you understand? So they told me it was for water, cleaning of the environment, security, and LOMA. Those are the 4 things that they told me I was paying for. And it's all good. I pay monthly and it's actually a very cheap rate. It's nothing really expensive. But then there are some serviced apartments when you get to pay like 50k monthly. I'm like, what are you really doing there? Give me the job. Let me sweep. Let me clean. What's there? I will clean it. I will fetch water. I will do security. I will do it. Be paying me the money. If your apartment is non-serviced, find out from the beginning before you pay, okay? So you know that it's you that will be sweeping your house by yourself, it's you that will carry your dustbin, where you're going to throw it, it's you that know where you will throw your dustbin, it's you that, you need to know these things. So that's one thing you need to check out again when you are searching for an apartment, alright? Now let's move to our very last tip on this list of mine. Environment. That's the last tip, environment. Now, environment is very, very important, and for me, I feel like that's where I got played when I got this apartment. So where I stay, like I said, is a very noisy place, right? It's a very noisy place. But when I was coming to get the apartment, I was still working back then, and the agent told me that the people who work here, because they have like workstations around me, the house is surrounded by like with a workstation. I don't even know how to explain it, but they told me that they close by 5. So when it's 5, it will be quiet. And I really didn't have a problem with it because I was working at the time, and I don't come back from work till 9, 10. So it was fine. I felt at least by 10 I'll have my peace. And then they said they don't work on weekends. Guys, when I moved into the apartment, I figured out that these guys work 7 days a week, right? They work 7 days a week and they don't close by 5. They close when they can't see what they are doing anymore. That's when they close, which is crazy. It's very crazy. They actually played me good on that corner, but I'm still fine with it because, I mean, they don't work overnight. Only sometimes when they have like really important jobs and they need to work, and when they work overnight, it's not really loud at all. It's actually very quiet. So you need to find out about your environment before moving in. You hear of environments where they don't have a drainage, and then when rain falls there's flood everywhere. You need to know those things before you say you want to pay for apartments. It's very, very important that you know what the environment is like before you say you want to cash money and give to the landlord. All right, okay, so that's all the tips I have for you. If you're looking for an apartment, you need to know these things. But before I wrap it up, I'm going to give some advice because I think this is also important. Okay, the very first advice I'll be giving is take your time in setting up your house. This is something we try to rush when we get a new apartment, and I want to tell you, you don't need to rush it at all. Like, take your time to set your house up. Now for me, when I moved into this apartment, I had a mindset of what I wanted. I had a dream of how I wanted my house to look, right? And even though I wasn't able to accomplish it at that time, I just took my time to put things in order one at a time. Reason being is, when you're searching for an apartment, you've already paid so much money, unless you can afford to, just set it up immediately. But if you can't, take your time to set up, because if you rush it, at the end of the day, you buy things you don't need. At the end of the day, everything will just look ugly to you. So whenever you get a new apartment, take your time, relax and set it up. My next advice is cut costs by patronizing your local vendors. Let me repeat that again. Cut costs by patronizing your local vendors. Leave Instagram alone. If you just got an apartment and you want to start buying things on Instagram, hey guys, let me tell you something. Don't do that, okay? Just block your mind for Instagram. You can only go to Instagram to get tips and ideas of what you want, but patronize your local guys. You want to get a chair. When I got this apartment, I wanted to get a chair. Let me give you my experience. I wanted to get a chair, and I wanted the L sofa, this L sofa. So I went online and I was just seeing 230,000, 300,000, 400,000. I was like, waiting happen because I want to buy chair. Is it not chair? Is it not ordinary chair? So I went out and I sorted a local vendor, a carpenter around, and he made my chair for me, guys. And I paid just 100K to make my chair. Duh. I mean, imagine if I had used 250,000 naira or 300,000 to buy the chair. Same chair I got for 100K from my local vendor. So let me give you another example, guys. When I wanted to get this Pampers grass, I went online to source for it, and everywhere I checked online, I was just seeing 5,000, 3,500, 4,000 for one stack or one strand. And then one day I went to see my friend Vivian, and on my way coming back, I saw this lovely painting, and I went to the store to find out how much the painting cost so I could come back and get it. When I got into the place, I figured out it was like a decor place, right? And I saw this Pampas grass there, and I asked the guy, how much do you sell this stuff? I've been looking for this stuff, yo. How much do you sell it? Guys, should I tell you how much this guy sold this stuff for me? It's crazy. Should I tell you how much he sold it? He sold 12 strands of Pampas grass for 350 naira. No jokes. I am not joking, guys. This amazing stuff right beside me, I bought it for 350 naira. I'm not joking. And I was like, Wow. Wow. Instagram. Wow. Now my last advice for you is make sure you always keep money for the house. Yes. Always stash up money that you can use to do one or two things when something goes wrong in the house. Okay? Like if the electricity in the house is bad, like maybe the sockets got spoiled or something got burnt, make sure you always have money to fix things in your house. That will help you, so you don't have to put your hands in probably your personal savings or calling on the landlord, because the time will come the landlord will even answer you again. They will tell you to fix it yourself. So always make sure that you have money saved up for things that can get spoiled in the house. Probably the tap or the sink is blocked, you need to call the plumber. You have money stashed up for that, right? Okay, so those are my tips and advice for those of you who will be looking for an apartment or searching for an apartment right now here in Lagos, Nigeria. Please do not forget to subscribe, to like, and to share. I hope those tips were really helpful. I mean, little I know, I have to share to you guys too, so you can also use those tips to get your own apartment when you are looking for an apartment. All right, so please guys, don't forget, we are trying to move to 500 subscribers. Try as much as possible to help me. Share this video, like this video, share with your friends, tell your friends to subscribe to the video. It will really help me if we can get to 500 subscribers very, very soon. Okay, I love you guys. Be good, have yourself a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'll see you on the next one.